Hello. This one's much longer. The year's ending. 2025, the calendar year is ending. What are you going to do with that? How do you feel like you want to exhibit yourself within the moments of this year as it ends? I don't know. You can tell me in the comments below if you feel like that. You can also tell me in the email below if you feel like you want to understand who you want to be as the year ends. Because nothing's going to come towards you until you go towards you, right? There was around the time they released that season of, I think it was 2023 or 2022, and they released the season of Stranger Things around the 4th of July. And then also, I can't remember the name of the organization right now, but they do things with quantum physics. Wish I could remember the name of the organization. I'm gonna see if I can find it, because it's just good information. Norwegian organization that deals with quantum physics. I believe it's Norwegian. No. CERN! Let's go! It's CERN. I got really excited. Thank you. Okay. CERN is the European Organization for Nuclear Research, is one of the world's largest and most respected centers for scientific research. Now, CERN, it's Switzerland. What did I say? Norwegian? They're in Switzerland. Now, the thing about CERN is they had this like quantum particle accelerator. They had this quantum particle accelerator, and it was actually activated to the highest point that it had been within CERN's research and development of this organization back in 2022 or 2023. It was when that season of Stranger Things was released during the 4th of July. And I say that with significance because when they had released this, it was around the same time. Like, Stranger Things had, if you know the theme of Stranger Things, there's lots of things going on with scientists messing around with quantum physics and alternate realities. And it was around the 4th of July, and it was the 4th of July within the Stranger Things show, and then they released it on the 4th of July as well. And then CERN was also doing things within the particle accelerator with quantum mechanics with their thing, and they had activated it at a point that had never been activated before. And ever since that point, I do strongly believe that the universe has shifted. Like, when that particle accelerator was activated, the universe that we live in shifted entirely in the way that it operates. And then they used Stranger Things as a means to distract the fact from that. There are lots of things that things like the Mandela effect. It happens like that. There were different effects like that. But the point of this was to say that ever since then, life has shifted. Life has shifted. And it shifted in a way where anything that you have internally will automatically be reflected outwards. And it wasn't always like that. Life was not always in the way that we're living in. And that's why things are moving at such an accelerated pace ever since like 2020. Because 2020 to 2021, 2022 was the period where they wanted everyone to kind of stay still. So there was less global energetic presence. So they had more energetic presence to be able to activate CERN at the ways that they did, which is why they did it in 2022, because things had been so still for so long. They were able to use that stagnated energy and transmute it in a way that created this new opportunity for them to activate a new universe. And of course there's good things. I only choose to believe in the power of the good. However, I do know and recognize that people of a manipulative stance of power, greed, have the ability to make these things happen, like CERN, for example, in order to grasp more of a life that promotes consumerism and capitalism. So with that being said, it's just important to understand that once that shift was made, more so than ever within humans' history of development up until this point in time, as of November of 2025, the world had been operating from a standpoint that was more like you can get anything that you want to get within a reasonable means. You kind of have to work for it, or you can expect a miracle to come at your doorstep. But now things have been happening in a way where anything that you feel internally is going to be reflected. I'm trying to protect these people's faces, is going to be projected almost immediately within your reality. So I think it's just really interesting to recognize that, because it's just not smart or within the good of benefit of anything to be living within an old program of the world. Because while we should be living from a program of our own internal doing, or yeah, it's still important to recognize that we still live in a globe where we have to some extent adhere with the societal representations that are being put into our world, which is like just society. And you know, you need food to eat and live, put gas in your car so you can come to a remote location and record videos on your device, whatever this thing is. But I just think it's really important for us to recognize that and understand that these things are happening, and that changes need to be made within an internal standpoint for it to be reflected outwardly. I'm getting a call, but I can't answer right now because I'm doing something very important. But the basis of what I wanted to talk about, why I started with that, is because right now, right now, the United States of America is experiencing a government shutdown. Within this government shutdown, there are things that are happening that are affecting people's livelihoods and ability to be able to provide for themselves and their family. There are some people who abuse that system, and there are some people who actually do depend on it because they literally cannot do any better, or they can't act within any other kind of means of production or providing for themselves, or at least that's what they believe. So in order to kind of make sense of this, I wanted to talk about astrologically how Uranus is retrograde right now, and Uranus is going retrograde back into Taurus at this point. So right now, when we think about that, I just think about the fact that it's going back into Taurus, and Taurus has to do with food, of course, just like naturally very standard what like represents, because second house, Venus, the bull, Earth. It was very interesting to me because back when Uranus was in Taurus before, when it was just going direct, we had a lot of food crises, along with things of lots of recalls on foods. That was when there's lots of recalls on foods. There was like this crazy thing with like eggs being gone, or egg prices just going up the butt. And now we're going back into that. And then also a lot of people aren't able to get the benefits that they need from the government, which they have relied on in order to feed and sustain their lifestyle, which is a very Tauran thing, because Taurus is about the things that can help sustain their lifestyle. How do you feed yourself? How do you feed your body? How do you feed your mind? How do you feed the values that you desire? How do you feed your lifestyle? What resources do you have to build the foundation for even developing a lifestyle to begin with? How do you build the foundations of a lifestyle? That's Taurus. And a lot of these people have been relying on these organizations, institutions of communication, people who are supposed to be within our daily lives providing for us. They have been left out in the cold. And I feel like as Uranus is going retrograde, it goes into Taurus. It'll be in Taurus by tomorrow, which is the 10th. No, it's not. Tomorrow is the 8th. But I don't know why I thought tomorrow was... I know why I thought tomorrow was the 10th. But actually, by tomorrow, the 8th, by the time then, Taurus will be retrograde for Uranus. And I just don't think that's going to be a good thing for a lot of the people who have been relying on these government institutions and situations to be able to provide for them. I'm just a little bit worried about them. Which is why I think it's really important, if you have the ability to, you should be able to help other people. Maybe if you can volunteer at food banks, or maybe even if you choose to donate to food banks, or you have friends who friends who rely on these systems who aren't providing for them, then you can go out of your way and invite them for food or treat them to something. I personally am not impacted personally by the government shutdown, but there was a point in time where I would have been, and I understand how stressful that could have been for me, because I naturally have always loved to eat, and it's also just more so just the fact of not being able to trust in the things that are being provided for you, which is also why it's so important for us to make a life for ourselves, from ourselves, within ourselves, without ourselves. Like, everything needs to rely on self. It's very important to stay true to self, and naturally you need to have support systems around you. That's a given, but I think it's really important for us to recognize that the world that we live in is our world innately, and when you can kind of recognize and grapple the fact that you can grasp onto anything that you want in this life by being tangible within yourself to make the outside world also experience or reflect this tangibility, then you can just kind of hone into this power that otherwise would not be if not for you. Because think about it, I mean, like, life only exists because you're experiencing it. What you do every day becomes your life. Like, these are just common things of foundationality that bring in a sense of existential simplicity. Like, life doesn't have to be complicated. All you have to do is create something from within yourself, and then the world will reflect something that is automatically curated for you, because you have been creating something for yourself. And I think it's really important to remember that it's just, like, more so than now, like, ever since 2022, 2023, it's been at a more accelerated and more impactful pace. The way that the universe is operating changed. Like, they shifted the universe that we had been living in and experiencing in, and that's why things are just so different after 2016. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, 2016, like, yeah, you guys, you just have to make something for yourself, from yourself, and just remember that nothing can stop you, because you're the only force in this world that has the power to create. You see how easily accessible I have the earth? I'm drinking in the earth right now. I created the earth. I am the earth. But no, seriously, if you have the means to help people, please help people. And if you have the means to create a life for yourself, please take advantage of every single opportunity of freedom that you have to create something from yourself, because automatically, it's just like, you have to understand that inevitably things will work out in your favor if you're constantly making things in your favor. Like, if you paint every day for a year and you go out in the world and you share your paintings, inevitably you're gonna get a return of investment. It's just these things we need to remember to incorporate into our daily lives and into a personal philosophy that we build for ourselves, because it's just extremely important now more than ever, because of the CERN activation. I genuinely believe, and I know, based on the knowledge that I have intuitively and educationally, the knowledge that we have with CERN, and just being aware of what's going on in the world around you, you know? Being aware of what's going on in the world around you, and understanding that we're all here for a purpose, whether you believe so or not. It's just, oh my god, not the children, no. Protect the children, bro. It's just a matter of what you feel like you need to be doing in your life, and then actually making it happen. Do what you want to do, say what you want to say, because at the end of the day, it's your day. So you just have to understand what it means to have your own day, and what it means to live in it. Like, who are you? Who are you? Who do you want to be? Who are you? Who do you want to be? And then just go from there. I really enjoy talking with you, Abrial. I enjoy looking at myself because I have beauty, and then I enjoy hearing myself talk. Not just because I like to hear myself talk, but because I have things to say. And the things that I have to say are very profound. So Yeah, this is a good channel for me. This is definitely a good channel for me. I'm still a little sleepy, but it's cool because it's my world anyway. I can do whatever I choose. So I hope you have a wonderful day, whatever you choose to do with your day. Just try to create something from yourself. Try to curate your own life. Because if you don't, you'll be living in somebody else's. And that usually never ends well. Yeah. Alrighty. Toodaloo. Love you. Stay happy. Hope you laughed today.